Everybody, will call the Board of Selectmen's meeting for Monday, April 4th back into session. At 6 o'clock, we held an executive session where we considered and discussed potential position reclassification. No votes were taken at that executive session, and we are back in open. So please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Weekly briefing. Anybody here for weekly briefing? Public comments and announcements. I just want to make two myself, and that is that the Comprehensive Wastewater Management Plan, I think everybody knows the town is working on for a long time now, was officially filed for regulatory review last week, so it'll start to wind its way through the review process, if you will. And for anybody who's interested in the Muddy Creek beams, the beams that will go across the span for the bridge are supposed to arrive in town about 2 a.m. on Wednesday. So Bill, make sure you're up for get a picture. As they're being delivered. I'm told that could vary by plus or minus 1 hour, so I don't know. So we'll see. But that's obviously a big deal towards getting the bridge put together. So those things, when you wake up on Wednesday morning, we would expect to see those beams down at the bridge side, I hope, as opposed to somewhere else. Okay, anybody else under public comments and announcements? Yes.
Good evening, Vicki Goldsmith from Habitat for Humanity of Cape Cod. I previously forwarded to the Selectmen an invitation to the dedication of 6 homes at Oak Street, Harwich, which will be this Sunday at 3 o'clock. Because of the public investment in those homes, I thought I'd give a little mini report to the Board of Selectmen. So this was a 7-home project with a total cost that will come in between 1.4 and 1.5 million, including the land purchase, road and utility improvements, and the soft costs such as engineering and legal. Harwich invested a total of $239.5 from the cell tower affordable housing funds for land and infrastructure, and $140,000 from CPC funds. Total of about $54,000 per house, $20,000 per house of that was CPC funds. Habitat brought in $196,000 of off-Cape money in the form of Federal Home Loan Bank money. That's banking money from mergers and acquisitions, from local and regional organizations, foundations, and individuals. We garnered approximately another $190,000 in restricted donations for this project. And of that, about $60,000 was from a collective of 15 faith congregations, some from Harwich, a lot from Harwich, but also from Brewster, Chatham, and Wellfleet, and I'm leaving out one. Harwich, Brewster, Chatham, Wellfleet, right, not Dennis, as they were donating to another one. And finally, mortgage lending was from Habitat for Humanity, our local affiliate, and USDA. So that was the funding. One reason I mention funding now is because during the economic downturn, I became more acutely aware that funds for affordable housing not only create homes that are affordable in perpetuity in our town and therefore a public resource as well as an opportunity for the families who will purchase them, but really an economic engine for the region. And so a myth about Habitat is we get everything for free. Of course we don't, and so we were investing in businesses such as Harwich Port Heating and Cooling, Jeffrey Brown's Landscaping, and other local businesses that employ local people. I wanted to let you know that 119 community members dedicated 6,500 hours so far to building the homes side by side with the future homeowners, who all put in between 250 and 500 hours of sweat equity in building their homes. And as you know, the terrific professionals of the Home Builders and Remodelers Association blitzed and 100% contributed 1 home to this initiative. And always of interest, of the 7 new homeowner households, 4 were already residing in the town of Harwich. The others all lived in adjoining towns. No one moved more than 1 town. 3 households had at least 1 member employed in the town at the time of application. 4 households already had children in school in the town, and some had kids who were too young to be in school. 4 adults grew up in the town of Harwich, and at least 5 households have other family members in town. 8 adults work in retail, food service, or other hospitality sectors, and 2 in the construction trades. And so, in sum, we raised walls at the end of June 2015 and the end of July 2015. We've already sold 3 of the homes. We called for final inspections on 2 more today, so we expect to close on those in another 2 weeks. In May, we will be getting our final certificates of occupancy and completing this project. And so the dedication, 3 o'clock Sunday on Oak Street, is really the last opportunity for the public to come in and not only see the outside of the neighborhood, which of course anyone can do anytime, but to have a chance to go inside and see the quality of construction that Habitat is able to do with volunteers. And proudly I mention to you that with the dedication of these homes, Habitat for Humanity of Cape Cod will have reached a milestone of having built, with community volunteers and local contributions, 100 Habitat for Humanity homes here on Cape Cod. Thank you.
So Vicki, before you go, you gave us a lot of numbers on how many people work in this sector and that side and whatnot. Do you know how many of the total of 7 houses, how many occupants will there be? Do you know?
Oh, I can't do that in my head. I actually have a spreadsheet here. I can email that somewhere
Okay, no
by,
problem.
but
I'm just curious if, if it represented, 28 people or 30
yeah,
people.
I should have brought that number. I can give it to you quite quickly, but not right this second.
Okay, send us an email.
I'll send you an email, and I'll put a few invitations on the back.
Great.
Okay,
Hope to
thank you
see
very
on
much.
Sunday.
Thank
Yep,
you for your
thank
support.
Yep, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda, and I'll just note we're gonna take items B and C, John, separately, just so you know, because I think the board has a couple of questions. So, Linda, would you do the consent agenda,
Mr.
please?
Chair, I move the consent agenda, approve minutes, March 14th, 2016, regular session. There is no D. E, approve the recommendation of the town administrator to issue dog order following a hearing held on March 24th, 2016. Approve application for common victular license by Hot Stove at Cranberry Valley. Approve a renewal of common victular license for Vieira Restaurant. Approve Chapter 90 request to chip seal various roads throughout the town in the amount of $160,601.67. And accept gifts in the amount of $2,040 to the Council on Aging Gift Fund and $725 to the Town Nurse Gift Fund.
Second.
Okay, move in second to approve items A, E, F, G, H, and I of the consent agenda. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to take up B, which is approve the Recreation and Youth 2016 beach sticker fees. John, you want to come to the podium?
Good evening.
Want to give us a glimpse as to the process you went through and how you came to the
Well,
conclusions, whatever?
As requested, we try to review the fees on a yearly basis, and we look and see, as you could, I believe you have a handout there that shows the comparison to the
Yep.
neighboring towns. So we try to stay in the running with the other towns. We don't want to be the high, but we definitely don't want to be the low. And it was, as you can see, some of these have been increased in the last couple of years. There are 3 that have not been increased since 2011. The commission did decide that the 1 week and the 2 week will hold off at this point and go up on the one that we're here on this evening, which is the resident season sticker from 25 to 30, which would put us just above the average for the towns that we like to compare ourselves to. One thing to explain, under the 2-week sticker, we typically, as you can see on this, we compare to Dennis, Yarmouth, and Chatham. They don't offer 2-week stickers, okay? The other towns do, and that's why all the towns on Cape that offer have an average of 114. So that's why it says NA on the other 3, and we still have an average, okay? We typically see that over the course of time that it's been a 5-year that they stay consistent. Every 5 years we try to adjust on the stickers. Instead of going up a little bit, it was mentioned to us at one point, go up $1.50 or go up $1.75 every year. Well, we found that it's easier, and it's easier for the accounting and selling stickers to go up in the increments that we've been doing it. So that's where we came from.
Okay, John, so what catches our attention, I guess, is that the non-residents' numbers are no change, and the resident seasonal sticker went up by $5, so maybe that's the one you want to focus on for us.
Non-resident was raised in 2015, Mr.
No,
Chair.
resident seasonal.
Resident seasonal
When you're
hasn't
asking
been
for a
raised.
$5 increase.
Correct.
That's the one I sense that's what we'd like to know about.
Because that has not been raised since 2011. That was our reasoning behind that. And there was a discussion, new stairs, as the board is aware. We need, Red River Beach is in major need of repaving to the tune of $220,000. Gets pulled every year, and rightfully so. All the beaches, I believe at this point, with the exception of Bank Street, have brand-new bathrooms. So, I mean, the people of Harwich have been very good in supporting us, and that was our rationale, that it hasn't been raised, so we think that was the one to go next.
I will say, seeing people drive down Red River Beach at least this point in time, it's kind of a nightmare.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's terrible. It's
Yeah.
terrible, we know that.
Angela.
I'm sorry, Angela.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
We looked into trying to do that piecework. We talked to Link and Chris Nickerson, and they said there's not enough there to patch or to do it in piecework. It has to be done in one fell swoop.
Angela?
Just a comment. If you look at the number of resident season stickers that were sold, last year it's $7,351, persons rather. And if you look at the non-resident, it's only 182. So if you're in need of funds, obviously, that's where the funds are. And I know that there's a need for stairways and those kinds of things.
Other questions?
Just a
Michael?
comment.
Yeah?
You know, I'd like to make the recommendation that we don't increase the fees this year. I think in Eric's budget message, he didn't anticipate any price increases, and I believe the stair costs were in there. But I think this year, we should consider giving the residents a break and not raising a fee.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yep.
just so we're clear, the price from the beach stickers does not go in to the rec budget. It goes into the general budget.
Got it. Linda?
You mentioned something about the non-resident seasonal sticker was raised last year?
Yes.
From what to what? Refresh my memory, please.
I don't know that, Linda, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I
don't-
just don't remember, but it was raised last year.
It was raised, and we also had a policy change on the non-resident stickers last year. You probably remember that. That it used to be anybody that stayed in the household was entitled to a sticker. That was amended last year as part of that.
Yeah, that's right.
How'd they go, by the way, last year?
Excuse me?
How did that go last year, by the way? When people found out about it, they adjusted to it, I think, because we didn't get too many complaints, but you
Yeah, I
might have
think
gotten
there
a
was some
lot.
issues downstairs, but I think overall, people understood when you had the discussion with them, they
Yeah.
kind of understood why.
Okay. Linda?
Are we going to sell stickers again at the Chamber of Commerce?
I believe that's under the highway, they're in charge, but I believe they are.
Because that seemed to work well last year.
Absolutely.
Okay, anybody else? Richard, do you have a question or comment? Sure, okay.
Just two things quick. I'm
Yep.
sorry I missed the open meeting where they discussed this, but it is $36,000 put on the backs of the current taxpayer residents. It's not just $5. And I know you may need it, but it's a big chunk to go up 20%. Thank you.
Anybody have a motion? Anybody want to make a suggestion?
Make a suggestion that we
I
keep.
want a motion.
Okay. I move that we do not increase the resident beach sticker by $5, and we leave the rates the same as last year.
Second for discussion.
Okay, moved and seconded, excuse me, on the youth and recreation and youth beach sticker fees, if you will, to keep the fees the same as last year. In other words, the only difference they were proposing, or increase they were proposing, was $5 on resident seasonal stickers. Nothing else was proposed to change, so the motion is to keep them all at no change or at last year's numbers. Discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Done? Yep.
Just a point of clarification, we're not doing this because we want to raise additional fees and raise the taxpayers by any stretch of the imagination. In a perfect world, there wouldn't be any fees, but I haven't found that perfect world yet. The other thing is, we've been given a pretty clear directive from the Board of Selectmen to stay on top of the fees, and that's part of the reason we're doing it. It's part of the reason we review every year. Thank you.
I understand.
I think there's
Angela, go ahead.
I think there's another consideration. These fees don't cover the total cost of taking care of the beach. So if you reduce this, there's gonna have to be additional money put into either DPW or wherever it's supposed to go to cover, because there's significant funds, the cleaning of the beach, the, what else?
Trash.
Trash pickup, all those things, the sand, all that stuff comes from other sources, not here. So that'll have to be
Understand.
looked at.
In the course of government, some things we just do because we do them, right? It's a public, not a public service, I guess, but we do it for the benefit of the folks that are out there. So, Michael?
You just said what I was gonna
Oh,
say.
okay.
Yeah, but what you're doing is you're putting that benefit, you're allowing the people who use the beach and use the stickers to pay less.
Yeah, we
And you're
understand.
charging more for the people in town who are residents, who pay taxes, who don't use the beaches and whatnot. So I don't know how fair that is.
All right, anybody else? Linda?
Well, I just, there are many things in town that not everybody, some people use and some people don't. So, I mean, part of my taxes are paying for the golf and
No, they're not.
paying for other things, but I don't tend to golf. I'm not that good a golfer.
That remains to be seen, but, no.
Oh, trust me.
Okay. All right, any further discussion of the motion? I'll just remind you, the motion is to keep the beach sticker fees the same as they were last year with no increase. We'll put that to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay, so 3-1 vote, it passed. Okay, John, the next one is the, I guess I'll just describe it as drones on the beach, I guess. I don't, however you want to describe this. Would you give us some insight as to what the experience has been and what the intention here is? I think I understand it, but,
The quick overview is, this was a recommendation from the director. He brought it to the commission, said he's had discussions with other directors in other areas. Incidents have been popping up, they haven't thankfully happened in Harwich yet. He brought it to us, we had a discussion, it was unanimous vote to be proactive before something does happen.
okay. So this is adding a rule, what you guys are calling Rule Number 20 to the beach rules. Then I'll just read it. It says, the use of airborne devices, including but not limited to drones, planes, personal jetpacks, and other motorized flying devices are prohibited unless authorized at the discretion of an appropriate town agent and lifeguard. So does that mean if someone has a drone that they want to, or even a kite that they want to fly on the beach, do they check in with the lifeguard? Is that what that means?
No, it means, the one that was brought up from, as a matter of fact, was the firefighter from, is it Mashpee? That has the drone that they brought into town to assist with the search at Bell's Neck a few weeks ago. Someone says, well, we need language in there that public safety, police, fire, lifeguards, whoever can use that. So there is some leeway that director or lifeguard can, or the police chief, fire chief, whoever it may be, can make the decision that that's an allowed use. It would have to be for public safety purposes, obviously.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure it's worded that, I'm not sure it's worded that way, but, because it sounds to me like just reading this, if I had a drone and I went down the beach and I checked in with the lifeguard, and the lifeguard said yes,
The lifeguard's not gonna say yes.
okay, I don't know, who knows,
Well,
right?
they'll be directed by the supervision this summer
Yeah.
at orientation that drones aren't allowed.
This is not applied to kites, right? It says motorized flying devices, so it's only things with motors on it, yeah. Linda?
What is the process where somebody gets the authorization? Who do they see? Who's the appropriate town agent? Usually you have a little more descriptive in there as to who is the appropriate town agent, how do they do that? And if the lifeguard isn't going to be authorized to allow a drone, then the lifeguard shouldn't be in here at the discretion of the lifeguard.
Well, I think what we're talking about, and we're happy to change the wording any way you see fit, but if it gets to that situation, it's gonna be a public safety event, is what we're saying.
That's not the question I'm asking. It says, the rule is, are prohibited unless authorized at the discretion of an appropriate town agent. Who's the town agent?
Town agent, in my opinion, would be the director, unless it's a public safety event and it becomes the police chief or the fire chief.
I understand that, but how will I know? I've got my little drone here and I'm going out. Who do I know to talk to who is the appropriate town agent?
You're not allowed,
You know, I want to go find out if I can fly my drone, and I see this rule and it says appropriate town agent. Who's that appropriate town agent? Where do I go? You know, do I go down to the Board of Health? Do I go to the police? Where do I go to find that out? So I think this wording needs work, particularly if the lifeguard isn't going to be authorized and the lifeguard shouldn't be there at all.
I'd make this real simple. If you just say that these uses are prohibited, period, and I think it would be well understood that if there's an emergency, if the police or fire department or the, emergency management director says, I need a drone flying somewhere, or I need to have a magic carpet flying on the beach, whatever it is, we're not gonna let a rule or regulation get in our way. It's obviously a public safety thing. So I think for the general public, you just say, are prohibited, period. I mean, I wouldn't give anybody the luxury of saying, can I go ask somebody to fly a drone,
I don't disagree.
So, Angela,
I agree with you, but I'd suggest something. Instead of just ending it as prohibited, that you can say, except for public safety issues.
I would even say that.
Because if the fire department's using it and somebody sees a drone up there, they're gonna wanna put up their, this way, they know that the only kind of drones that are flying around are either fire or police department, period. It's more information and it's 3 words.
consider it.
Okay.
I mean,
What's the board's pleasure? So I don't want to go back.
my druthers are just to say prohibited, period, and I think, any rules and regulations we basically have in town, if it's a public safety issue, we throw out the regulations and say we're saving somebody's life, I mean, that kind of thing, so. I think
If
that
they add
goes
it to the
without
sign, so it's a lot easier just to say drones
Well,
prohibited.
the signs are not meant for public safety people, they're meant for the general public,
Correct.
who's, by the way, buying the beach sticker to come in, and, we don't have beach stickers on fire trucks and police cars that I know of. I don't think we've gotten to that point yet, so,
There's $5.
Yep, yeah, right, there you go, yeah. So that would be my druthers, I don't know what the board,
I could live with that are just prohibited, period. Because you're right, this is for the general public, this isn't the police chief trying to save someone's life, it isn't, John Rendon trying to save someone's life with a drone and the boat and et cetera, are prohibited, period.
so why don't you
Good with
take,
that.
I'd say you take that back to your guys and
Yeah.
see if they're okay.
We'll take care of it at the next meeting.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, yep. Okay, let's see, that's consent agenda, public hearings, we have none, old business, all right, we're going to, let me just, it's going to be time where the Board of Selectmen needs to run through positions on articles. And so, last week, we sort of teed this up to say we're gonna try and get through most of these. I will say that we've had an all-day public session, working session with the Finance Committee and advocates for not only budgets, but articles. We've had a number of people come see us on articles. I've asked the board on at least 1 or 2 occasions whether they had any other articles they wanted to hear about. We have and did carve out a few that we will take up next week. But for this week, we have a number on here that we just want to get ourselves through. Vote either accept and adopt or indefinite postpone, no recommendation pending further information, and identifying funding sources. So Linda, I think if I remember correctly, you accepted the task last week of taking on a good number of these. And I know you came prepared to do that. It may seem very boring to you folks sitting out there, but it's a process we just need to go through. We could have done these 5 at a time each meeting for the last 15 meetings or something, but we had a few other things to do, and so we're doing this tonight. What we don't get done tonight, we'll bring back next week, and if we don't get through them all next week, we'll go on to the following week, et cetera, until town meeting shows up. So I will say that, to my knowledge, we're not gonna vote Article 4, which is the operating budget, because that's still in development. We're not gonna vote 26, which is the CPC reserve. We're not gonna vote West Harwich School because we're gonna give you some more information tonight, and it's gonna come back next week. Let's see what else I have on my list. We're not gonna vote CPC purchase of the Marini property, just because that's still in discussion.
38.
38, yep. We're not going to vote 55, which is the charter amendment for having the Charter Enforcement Commission. And we're not going to vote 56, the demolition of residential buildings. We're not going to vote the stabilization fund because we don't have a number for it. And then in the special, we're not going to vote 1, which is snow and ice deficit, and 4, budget shortfalls, because those numbers aren't known at this point in time. They will get voted before town meeting. All the others that I mentioned we'll be bringing back next week. There may be some we don't get through tonight as well, but we will be working on this diligently over the next couple of weeks. But tonight, we hope to get through a large portion of these. So with that, Linda, if you get us started.
All right, move to accept and adopt Article 1.
Which is town officers and
Town
committees.
officers and committees.
Somebody second. I moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 1, which is town officers and committee discussions, or discussion. Yeah.
I don't have a discussion on this particular article, but since you've already went through all of these, can we not make a motion to accept?
No.
No.
We're gonna do one, we're gonna run through them, don't worry. We're gonna do them one at a time. Okay? Just for clarification. Just don't ask questions, you'll be fine. All right, we have a motion to accept and adopt Article 1, town officers and committees. Discussion, hearing none, we'll put it to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. Linda, number 2.
Motion to accept and adopt Article 2, reports of town officers and committees.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Article 2, reports of town officers and committees. Discussion, hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. 3.
Motion to accept and adopt Article 3, elected officials' salaries from free cash, $84,697.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Article 3, which is elected official salaries from free cash. Discussion,
That's not from free cash.
tax levy.
Excuse me,
FinCom voted tax levy, just so you know.
tax levy.
Yeah.
That's not free.
Available funds, available funds.
Yes.
That's what your motion was, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and that's what your second
Second
was, right?
was.
Okay. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, opposed? Angela's protesting. All right, it's a vote. All right, we're skipping 4.
I'm assuming his non-answer is a yes.
I don't know what it
Unless
is.
I hear a
I'm
no.
gonna say.
But if we have
yes,
3
wait.
votes, it doesn't, you know,
Right,
it's
this
what it
would be
is. All right, Article 5, the Monomoy Regional School District budget.
Move to accept and adopt Article 5, Monomoy Regional School District budget at a cost of $24,058,302 from available funds.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded, the Monomoy Regional School District. Please note that the FinCom broken into two chunks, available funds and then free cash specifically. I don't know if you want to mimic what they did or not. Just pointing that out.
Yep.
You want to leave it all as available
Available
funds?
cash.
Okay, available funds. Right? All right, moved and seconded, Article 5, Monomoy Regional School District budget at $24,058,302 available funds. Discussion? Hearing none. Put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Now, don't be like
The
that.
vote? Okay. Article 6.
Article 6, move to accept and adopt Article 6, Cape Cod Regional Technical School District budget, $1,437,053 from available funds.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Article 6, Cape Cod Tech School budget at $1,437,053 from available funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. Article 7.
Move to accept and adopt Article 7, water budget, $3,939,879 from the Water Department operating funds.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Article 7, Water Department budget at $3,939,879 from Water Department funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you.
Move to
Article
accept
8.
and adopt Article 8, adopt the capital plan.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Article 8, adopt the capital plan. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 9, amend the personnel bylaw.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Article 9, amend the personnel bylaw. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
All right, move to accept and adopt Article 10, capital items funded from free cash, items under $50,000 at a cost of $89,900.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Article 10, capital items under $50,000 from free cash. And the number here is $89,900 from free cash. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 11, Facility Maintenance and Repair Fund, at a cost of $561,000 from free cash.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Article 11, Facility Maintenance and Repair Fund, in the amount of $561,000 from free cash. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 12, Fund New Fire Department Ambulance, $290,000 from free cash.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Article 12, the Fire Department Ambulance, $290,000 from free cash. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 13, Supplement Landscape Reclamation from Golf Capital Improvement Fund at a cost of $35,000 from the Golf Improvement Fund.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Article 13, the Golf Landscape Reclamation, $35,000 from the Golf Improvement Fund. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 14, approve use of the Golf Improvement Fund to construct new tees, cost of $30,000 from the Golf Improvement Fund.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded, Article 14, golf, to construct new tees from the Golf Improvement Fund, $30,000. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 15, establish new capital infrastructure revitalization fund at Cranberry Valley Golf Course.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Article 15, to establish a new capital infrastructure fund at Cranberry Valley Golf Course. There's no dollar number associated with this.
No.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 16, reconstruction of Sacotucket Municipal Marina, $6 million as a debt exclusion.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 16, which is the reconstruction of Sacotucket Marina, that's the water side. The total, I'll just point out, is $7 million, $1 million of which is a grant, and $6 million is a debt exclusion.
And the article actually reads 7 million.
Yeah. Further discussion?
Just a
Angela.
question. I believe that Chris has about 75% of this being paid off by waterways fees. Is there a way to indicate that? Because I think people would probably be more understanding of voting positively if they knew that so much money was being paid for out of waterways fees.
You mean,
I don't know how you do that.
I
quite
think
frankly.
between now and town meeting, we can discuss that. You know, for tonight, I think we just need
Maybe
the
in
Board
the-
of Selectmen.
Forget it.
On the articles presented, certainly that
we
would
can
be
do
one of the plugs, right? And the other thing is, Angela, I think we had, we tasked, I don't know, it was Matt Hart or somebody, or the harbor master, to come back with a one-pager.
Yes.
It was like a handout that summarized it all, so once we have that in hand, we can see what that looks like, and, you know.
And if I might, he did do a paragraph which now appears in the printed warrant in the ballot portion,
Okay.
understanding that that won't be included on the ballot.
Right. Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put this as Article 16, the Sacotucket Marina. I'll put this to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, as a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 17, Sacotucket Harbor Landside Renovations Engineering Design, $250,000 out of free cash.
Second.
Okay, moving second, Article 17, a landside design, if you will, at Sacotucket Harbor, $250,000 from free cash. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, it's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 18, Road Maintenance Program, $700,000 as a debt exclusion.
Second.
Okay, Article 18, the road maintenance program, $700,000. Accept and adopt $700,000 as a debt exclusion. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 19, Purchase and Equip Vehicles for the DPW, and that is $316,500 out of free cash.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Accept and adopt Article 19, Public Works Vehicles, the amount of $316,500 from free cash. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 20, Purchase and Equip New Equipment for the DPW, $188,209 out of free cash.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 20, which is DPW equipment. The amount is $188,209 from free cash. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 21, Purchase New Excavator for the Water Department, $125,000 from the Water Enterprise Fund.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 21, which is Water Department excavator, in the amount of $125,000 to be funded through the Water Enterprise Fund. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 22, Replacement of the Lothrop Annual Avenue Water Storage Tank, $1.6 million out of the Water Enterprise Fund.
Second.
Long delay, it was like, okay. Moving second, Article 22, accept and adopt the replacement of the Lothrop Avenue water tank. It's $1,600,000 from the Water Enterprise Fund. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 23, Replacement of Existing Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition, SCADA system, $300,000 from the Water Enterprise Fund.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 23, which is from the Water Department's SCADA system. The amount's $300,000 to be taken from the Water Enterprise Fund. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to indefinitely postpone Article 24, Intermunicipal Agreement with the Town of Chatham.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to indefinitely postpone the IMA with Chatham. Discussion, I would just say that the negotiations haven't gotten as far along as we had expected, and we're running out of time. So, as we discussed, I believe, last week, the intent would be to maybe do something in the fall, assuming we come to an agreement. Any other discussion? Okay, we'll put that to a vote. That's Article 24, the IMA with Chatham, indefinite postponement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Article 25, move to indefinitely postpone, enact a sewer use general bylaw.
Second.
Moved and seconded to indefinitely postpone Article 25, the sewer bylaws. Again, that goes hand in hand with the IMA. So we're going to put that off until a later time. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put that to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you. We're going to skip 26. Michael, do you want to do 27 through 31, maybe?
Yep. I move that we accept and adopt Article 27, Fund Land Bank Debt Service, the amount of $633,400 from CPA funds.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 27, which is CPA Fund Land Bank Debt Service, in the amount of $633,400 to be taken from CPC funds. Discussion? And Linda, I'll just note Linda's not participating in the CPC ones. You just make a note of that, please.
Abstaining.
Yeah, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There's a vote,
Abstain.
thank you. Yeah. Okay, 28.
Move that we accept and adopt Article 28, Restoration of the Chase Library Fireplace Hearth and Base, in the amount of $3,100 from CPA funds.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 28, Chase Library fireplace restoration in the amount of $3,100 from CPC funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. 29.
I move we accept and adopt Article 29, Restoration of Harwich Historical Society artifacts in the amount of $11,000 payable by CPA funds.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 29, Historic Society artifacts in the amount of $11,000 to be taken from our funded by CPC funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. 30.
I move that we accept and adopt Article 30, Restoration of Appearance of the Albro House and Accessibility Modifications,
Second.
in the amount of $18,700 from CPA funds.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded, Article 30, Albro House and accessibility modifications in the amount of $18,700 from CPC funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's a vote.
Opposed.
Okay. So you have a 2-to-1 vote on that one.
2-1-1.
Okay. 31.
31, I move we accept and adopt Article 31, Update of Town Historical Property Inventory in the amount of $20,000 payable from CPA funds.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 31, which is historical property inventory, and the amount is $20,000 from CPC funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Angelo?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, we're gonna skip 32. We're gonna bring that back next week, we said. So 33?
I move we accept and adopt Article 33, Historic Restoration and Preservation of Burial Crypts in the amount of $25,000 paid out of CPA funds.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded, accept and adopt Article 33, Historical Preservation of Burial Crypts, $25,000 from CPC funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put that to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you.
I move we accept and adopt Article 34, South Harwich Meeting House Restoration and Preservation in the amount of $100,000 payable from CPA funds.
Second.
Moved and seconded, accept and adopt Article 34, and that's South Harwich Meeting House, $100,000 from CPC funds. Discussion.
Just a question. Have we received the information that we had asked before for?
To my knowledge, we have not, and I've also, just so you know, I've also asked between now and town meeting that we at least, prior to one of our normal Monday night meetings, we get a peek like we did last summer into the building to see where they are.
Well, would it then be appropriate for us to hold off on this vote until that time?
Whatever your pleasure.
What information were we waiting for?
I think what Angelo's, I think what he's asking for is, the Friends, I'll call it that, had told us previously had X amount of money. They have, what's the update on the projects they've gotten done? How much more do they have to do with their money, and how are they gonna spend the $100,000? Because one of the topics here is, we have advertised this as the last $100,000, to finish this up and get it going. So, if you have, if you want some comfort in that, we can obviously have them in.
That's just,
Whatever your pleasure. I mean,
I would think we're not hurting it in any way. If we can get the information in the next couple of weeks, would be great.
I think we're voting on giving them up to $100,000, so it's not, I thought we saw fairly concrete numbers the last time she was in.
I guess the only doubt is, not doubt, the only concern is that was a while ago. And,
Yeah, I thought you had written the letter.
but I know there's like, you can go down and see there's a new roof on the building. I don't know what's been done on the inside, quite frankly. I honestly don't know. So, if you want to wait and we'll get them in next week or whatever, we can do that. I mean, it's,
My sense is we're voting up to $100,000. If it's below that, we get it back. If it's above that, they don't get it.
and how's the project get done? I guess is the question, so.
Yeah, I mean, that becomes an issue.
Why don't we do, my suggestion is let's get them in next week if we can. Would you withdraw your second?
Yes.
And withdraw your motion, and we'll just hold this till next
Withdrawn.
week? Okay? Let's just do it that way, okay?
I move we accept and adopt Article 35, White House Field fencing replacement in the amount of $57,128, payable by CPA funds.
Second.
Okay, move in second, Article 35, accept and adopt the White House field fencing. The amount is $57,128, and it would come from CPC funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, to vote. 36.
Move we accept and adopt Article 36, Queen Anne Road Bike Trail Crossing lights in the amount of $29,700, payable by CPA funds.
Second.
Okay, moved in second to accept and adopt Article 36. That's the Queen Anne Road Bike Trail Crossing signalization in the amount of $29,700 to be taken from CPC funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, to vote. Thank you. 37.
Move we accept and adopt Article 37, Brooks Park Expansion Improvement Phase 3 in the amount of $188,000, payable by CPA funds.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 37, that's Brooks Park expansion. Is that Phase 2 expansion?
Phase 3.
Phase 3? Okay, I don't have that in front of me. In the amount of $188,000, and the proposal is to take it from CPC funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I said aye.
Okay, you're just whispering over there. All right, 38 we're gonna hold. Can we do 39?
I'm getting hoarse.
That's the
I move we accept and adopt Article 39, Historic Brooks Free Library Restoration in the amount of $540,000, paid for CPA funds.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 39, that's Brooks Library Restoration, $540,000 from CPC funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Come on, guys,
It's a
wake
vote.
up.
Thank you. All right, last CPC article is number 40.
Move we accept and adopt Article 40, repeal of Article 42 of May 2007 Annual Town Meeting, fund renovations at Old Recreation Building and West Harwich School in the amount of $32,760.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 40, which is rescinding Article 42 of the May 2007 Annual Town Meeting. And that number was $32,760, and they were CPC funds. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Okay, Lynn, do you want to get back in the game here?
Oh,
Giving you a chance to rest?
It's just chomping at the bit.
Article 41, please.
Move to accept and adopt Article 41, Acceptance of General Laws, Chapter 111, Section 26G.
Second for discussion.
Okay, moved it, Article 41, moved to accept and adopt Mass General Law, Chapter 111, Paragraph 26G, Board of Health member septic. Has to do with, if I recall right, and you have it there, it has to do with whether or not someone who's in the business of, I'll just say installing septic systems, can act effectively as a Board of Health member. So,
I think it's that they,
go ahead.
they can't inspect their
Right.
own work, but they can work as an inspector for the town on other installations, not their own.
Who put this forward and why, I guess?
Board,
My recollection is the Board of Health did.
Yes.
And the reason was they're having trouble getting qualified people to be on the Board of Health, number one.
as
And
inspectors.
As inspectors, yeah.
So this would allow someone to inspect their competitors' work.
Well, would it not also allow that person to input on voting, whether it can be done or not?
Yep.
And what the rules are?
It's true.
No, these are just inspectors. They're not voting on rules.
I thought they were gonna be on the board.
No.
You get the article there?
It-
Read the article somewhere.
Oh, sorry, it's a member of the Board of Health who is also a septic system installer. You're right, I stand corrected.
Yeah.
And that bothers me. Not that I don't think this person could be honest, but it's really hard, I would think.
Well, let's do this. Let's ask the Board of Health to come in next week and talk to us about it. Okay?
I'll withdraw my second.
I
Okay.
withdraw my motion.
So let's get them in here next week if we can. 42.
Move to accept and adopt Article 42, accept Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5, Clause 56, personal property tax abatement for National Guard and reservists. And to my understanding, we have to do this every 2 years.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 42, which has to do with property tax abatement for National Guard and Reservists. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. 43.
Move to accept and adopt Article 43, amend Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5, Clause 41C, senior exemption.
Second.
Okay, Article 43, it's moved and seconded to accept and adopt the senior exemption. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 44, create supplemental senior exemption,
Second.
and it is $40,000 from free cash.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Article 44, this is the creation of a supplemental senior exemption requested by the Board of Assessors in the amount of $40,000 to be taken from free cash. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 45, door-to-door canvassing solicitations bylaw.
Second.
Moved and seconded for Article 45 to accept and adopt the door-to-door bylaws proposed by the police chief, and I think now vetted by council.
And now vetted, by yes.
Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 46, building structure height in flood hazard areas.
Second.
Okay, Article 46 is moved and seconded to accept and adopt the building height of structures in flood zones. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 47, proposed zoning bylaw amendments.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 47, the zoning amendments. They include 3 segments, construction, signs, two-family, and guest houses.
Question?
Go ahead.
Is it appropriate to amend this Section G, which has to do with the signs, and add the words, "with the approval of the landowner"?
Be a town meeting.
Can we do it at town meeting?
Well, I also think that's appropriate to bring back, we can bring back the planning board folks, because they're the ones that, and the building commissioner that asked for this. We could ask them to come in and discuss it, if you'd like to.
I'll withdraw my second.
I withdraw my motion.
It's
Okay,
up to you guys.
so bring them in, let's bring them in.
Mr. Chair,
Yes?
may I ask a quick question? On Article 47, I think part of it, in regards to the duplexes, part of it makes quite a bit of sense. In our zoning bylaws, it indicates that if there's an existing lot with 10,000 square feet and 100 feet frontage on Route 28, that you can build, you can have a single-family home, and it's modifying that, so under the same conditions, you would allow a duplex. But at the same time, the other aspect of this I'm very concerned about, and that is currently, it's the interpretation, I believe, the town planner, that with half an acre, you could build in the CH1 district, on half an acre, you could have a duplex. Currently, a single-family home's on a full acre.
Sure.
But as we're looking at housing, and as we're looking at our consistency with our comprehensive plan, the notion of moving from a half acre for a duplex to a full acre on Route 28, I think bears some more examination, and whether that's really consistent with our housing goals from our comprehensive plan. And I'm concerned that a property owner who currently would have the ability to build 2 duplexes, perhaps not in a village area where we're increasing perhaps density, but as an option, environmentally, as business owners, whatever, we're taking away some aspect, some ability that they have, which could add additional housing units. And so I'm concerned about that aspect, not the first aspect, which my understanding is there was a concern about a grandfathered lot and whether you could have a duplex where we currently allow it, which makes a lot of sense.
I understand.
But it's that second aspect I think I'm concerned about. I just wanted to indicate I'm concerned about that.
Well, hopefully you can come back, Brooke, when we bring him back in. And it'll be the next week or the week after, probably. Okay? All right, 48, you ready?
Move to accept and adopt Article 48, proposed amendments to the Harwich Home Rule Charter.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 48, charter amendments. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 49, amend the Harwich Home Rule Charter, Section 3, Chapter 3, Section 6.
Second.
Article 49 is moved to accept and adopt charter amendments, Chapter 3, Section 6-2, alternate members. Discussion?
And I think it's a good idea.
There you go. Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote other than that comment. So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. Next.
Move to accept and adopt Article 50, amend the Harwich Home Rule Charter, Chapter 7, Section 7-14-2.
Second.
Move to accept and adopt Article 50, which is a charter amendment, Chapter 7, Section 14-2, Water Department Structure. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. 51.
Move to accept and adopt Article 51, reconstruction of Ginger Plum Lane through private road betterments, $223,650.
Second.
Okay.
Through
Move-
betterment.
Moved and second, Article 51, accept and adopt the reconstruction of Ginger Plum Lane, which we've done as a betterment. So this in essence is spreading that improvement, which is $223,650 to fix the road over a number of years for the residents, if you will, of the abutters of that lane. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 52, to defray the expenses of the Chase Library and the Harwich Port Library, $20,000 from free cash.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 52, the Chase and Harwichport Libraries defraying their expenses, $20,000 from free cash. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Linda, would you do 53? I'm going to just step back just since I'm a member of
Certainly.
the chamber, so.
May I have a motion, Article 53, please?
I move we accept and adopt Article 53, promote the town of Harwich in the amount of $25,000. I believe that's by free cash.
Cash.
Second.
All right, motion to accept and adopt Article 53, into discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And an abstention.
Yep, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 54, supplement annual allocation of Mass Cultural Council for local cultural council grants, $3,000 from free cash.
Second.
Move to accept and adopt Article 54, the annual allocation of the Mass Cultural Council, $3,000 from free cash. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The vote. Thank you.
We're going to hold 55
And 56.
and 56. Move to accept and adopt Article 57, approve the transfer of a town parcel to Cemetery Department to develop a pet cemetery and pet crematory.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 57, which is transferring property to the Cemetery Department for the intended purposes of developing a pet cemetery and crematorium. No money in this article, so. Okay. Then moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The vote. Thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 58, Departmental Revolving Funds Authorization.
Second.
Moved and seconded on Article 58, accept and adopt Department Revolving Fund authorizations. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. We're going to skip, are you ready for 59? I don't know if you want to do that or not.
I'm ready for
Okay,
59.
go ahead.
Move to accept and adopt Article 59, establish a Wetlands Revolving Fund.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 59, and that's the establishment of a wetland revolving fund. There's no money associated with that, but it's requested by the Conservation Commission. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. 60, the stabilization fund, we're going to, oh, I'm sorry.
Can I
I'm
just
sorry.
interrupt for a second? We have someone here from the Conservation Department. Is there supposed to be funds added to this, or is it just the,
Amy, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you guys today?
Great. We just voted to establish a fund.
Thank you so
The
much.
question is there any money in the fund?
There, yes. So a portion of the wetlands, the the notice of intent filing fee, which is a state permit, it also is our local permit. A portion of that goes into a wetlands account to be used for conservation purposes only. It is to be used, that's the only way you're supposed to be using it. Andy, we discovered this past year that technically this needs to be a revolving fund. That's how it should be used. So it can't be put into the general fund.
So the funding
So this
source
is-
is already there. We just had to park it in the right place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
We generate anywhere between $4,000 to $10,000 a year out of it. All depends on the number of filings we take in.
The reason I ask is if there are funds that are in another account that needs to be transferred into this, I don't know whether you need to do it or not. Let's
Not
just,
really.
I think what happens is, once you actually establish the fund and we get to the new fiscal year,
Okay.
at that point, henceforth, those funds that would be designated to go in there end up in there. Is that right? You know,
all right, as long as it's covered,
This is for fiscal year 17 anyways.
Yeah,
Right.
right, right.
Exactly.
so's this, you know.
But right now, it sounds like those funds go into the general fund or something like that, yeah. Okay? Further discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll put that to a vote. I'll remind you, it's Article 60, the stabilization fund.
No,
Or,
we're
excuse
not.
me, I'm sorry.
59.
Actually, you already voted
We
it.
already
I know.
voted 59. He was asking the question.
It's
Okay.
getting to you, isn't it, after?
It is. Did we vote it before you asked the question?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right, it is getting to me. All right, moving on to 61.
Move to accept and adopt Article 61, OPEB Trust Fund, in the cost of $300,000 from free cash.
Second.
Moving second, Article 61, accept and adopt the OPEB fund, $300,000 from free cash. Discussion? Can't contribute enough to this, I guess, but we're chipping away at it, and it does help our bond rating, I do believe, so. All right, we'll put this to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 62, fund prior year's unpaid bills, $25,000 from free cash.
Second.
Moving second, Article 62, accept and adopt fund prior year's bills, in the amount of $25,000 from free cash. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. This may be one we come back and revisit as we get closer to town meeting, because there is some insurance money potentially involved here, so, okay.
Move to accept Article 63, compensating balance agreement.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 63, the compensating balance agreement. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Move to accept and adopt Article 64, liability title, non-title rivers.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept and adopt Article 64, liability title / non-title rivers. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote, thank you.
Article 65, move to accept and adopt herring fisheries.
Second.
Moved to accept and adopt Article 65, herring fisheries. Discussion? Who's going to give the report this year?
Oh, we
Oh,
should call,
Janelle's not here. We should,
yeah, Janelle can do it.
Janelle should, all right, we'll give it to Jan.
That'll teach her.
Sorry, Janelle, if you're watching. Okay, we'll put this to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, thank you. Shall we move to the special?
Moving to the special, we are holding Article 1.
Yes, we are.
Article, move to accept and adopt Article 2 of the special town meeting. Repeal of Article 9 of the May 2011 special town meeting, acquisition of tax title properties, return to CPC funds of $50,000.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded in the special town meeting to accept and adopt Article 2, and that's rescind Article 9 of the 2011 annual town meeting. The amount is $50,000. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote?
Michael, will you take 3?
Yeah, please.
Move to accept and adopt Article 3, fund administrative cost of the Community Preservation Committee for the acquisition of properties in tax title, owners unknown, or other disputed in the amount of $50,000.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded in the special town meeting, Article 3, accept and adopt the CPC administrative costs on the acquisition of tax title in the amount of $50,000, and these are $50,000. Okay. Discussion? And Linda, you're abstaining, right? Okay. Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you.
Oops, abstain.
That's it, isn't it?
And one abstention, yep. Wow, you got through that. See, Angela, it was a lot better than just saying vote the whole darn thing.
If you look at the audience, you'll see 60 people who are sleeping on the floor.
No, if we said vote the whole darn thing, now wait a minute. Brooke wouldn't have been able to get up and say something, right? So, I mean, we wouldn't have been able to ask questions. Mr. Galvin wouldn't have a story. I don't know
Mr.
what the
Galvin's
story
sound
is, but,
asleep.
huh?
Mr. Galvin's been pinching
Is it okay?
himself for the
Oh,
last
okay.
hour.
All right. Do we have any update on the score of the game?
No.
Okay. By the way, if you don't know, Angelo's granddaughter is in the national finals for Division III women's basketball in Indianapolis, right, tonight?
Right now.
Playing in the game, so that's pretty important. We should get done here pretty quick and get the heck out of here so he can go watch something.
And hasn't she gone over her 1,000th point?
Yeah, she's a junior. She's already gotten about 1,300 points. So,
I don't mean to embarrass you, put you in a spot, but that's such a big event. I think that's really
thank you.
exciting. Okay, we're going to move on to new business. So, well, before we do that, we do have a list of who we want to see next week, right, Charlene? You got that all sorted out, right? Who we're going to ask in, if they can make it next week? Okay, good. With the hope that next week we can wrap this up, because the week after that, both Michael and I are not here, so you'll have a few people in the boat at that point in
Quick
time. You can
Quick
change
meeting.
everything. No, you can change all the votes. I don't know, you can do whatever you
wanna
want.
meet.
Huh?
As if you even want to meet.
Do it, well, I think you have to meet, so.
Oh, we'll have a great meeting.
There you go. All right, so we're going to move on to new business, budget amendment
Change all of
number
this.
2. Charlene, do you have something to discuss with us there?
Before you, you have budget amendment number 2, which, I'm trying to look at too many documents here, I beg your pardon.
This is the sheet that says changes to the budget and the warrant, right? Budget
Yes.
amendment number 2, 3/28/16. It's a spreadsheet?
Yes.
Yep. Want to walk us through it, please?
So in the administrative line item 149, and Andy's also here in case I mess up, he can correct me. In discussions at one of the last Water Implementation Committee meetings, it was brought to our attention that we did not have enough money once the Comprehensive Wastewater Management Plan was filed, in the event that there was any follow-up that needed to be done by the consultant. He estimated that cost to be $20,000, so we have included that into the administrator's budget for additional engineering services. With regard to the community center, we did have a slight error in, we had to adjust the office assistant salary line item. It was not budgeted with FY17 numbers, it was budgeted with FY16. It is now budgeted with FY17 numbers. Union contracts, the SEIU and their contract, we are looking at blocks of positions within that budget over the next 3 years of the contract. This year, we are looking at 6 positions within that contract, and if it is deemed appropriate to have any pay raises based on the compensation study that we're doing, we're allocating $5,000 for any changes that may occur. The fire department, there's a number of items here. You may have recalled that they asked for 2 positions. One was actually in the budget itself. One was on a separate line as EOS. When we subtracted those 2 positions out, we just did a blanket takeout and realized we needed to go back and actually take it out from each line item. So that's what this represents. It was actually a net gain of about $11,000 when we pieced it out. Waste disposal, increase in disposal revenue of $15,000. Debt, increase in Witchmere Pier debt buy-off. Originally, the permanent debt was over 10 years, not 20 years. This has now been converted to a short-term debt of 5 years. This is the second year payment in that payoff of the original article, which was for $478,400. And harbor receipts has been increase to offset that payment for the Witchmere Pier
So you're
debt
accelerating
payoff.
the debt payment?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Good, Angela has a question.
I'd like us to bring up how we repay debt as an article on one of our meetings and a discussion, because I know that Chris had said that the state has changed their regulations, and you can go for a greater period of time, and you can go at an even keel. What we're basically doing here is taking $46,000 that we could have put in the stabilization fund or someplace else, or not spend it, or do something with it to pay off a debt. So what? I mean, the people we make happy are the people who lent us the money. And I think we have to start thinking about borrowing things for longer terms, because we should cover the life of the, close to the life of the article. I remember a lady who was really upset with the community center, and used to get up in town meeting, and she ended up paying off most of the, period, and then passed away, but the community center's still there. So there are reasons for a lengthy period, and I think we need to talk about moving in that direction. To get involved with this $46,000 right now that's in here, I'm not going to suggest that. I just think it's something we have to do to change the way we pay off debt. And private companies don't do this because they want the money now, because it's more valuable than money then, in the future. And I think we should think of it as a policy issue rather than a specific.
Well, I think that's a good discussion.
That's what I'm saying, put it
No,
on an
I mean,
agenda
For
sometime.
the summer or something, that
Whatever.
we get the FinCom in here and everybody else, and we have a discussion about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Some people would like to pay their mortgage off early, others would like to pay it, take it all the way in, then refinance it and keep going. So, I mean, there's a number of ways of looking at it.
there are financial calculations you can make, too.
Understand. Okay, keep going.
That's all I have.
Okay, all right. And we're not going to tackle the budget till next week. We still have some other items to deal with, so, for next week. Okay, so, yep, go ahead, Linda.
In part of this budget amendment number 2, I know that our finance director had sent us an email, little report that said that he was a little concerned about the $300,000 sitting in there on solar revenues in the budget, that he thought it, at the time of the email, he thought it might be a bit high. Would you want to comment on your feelings at this point, up 6 weeks later, whether or not you think that ought to be, is that needed to be addressed in the budget?
Excuse me for just 1 minute. We're going to let you address that in a second, but I just want to point out that next week we are going to have a presentation on the solar stuff. Charlene's been putting together a PowerPoint presentation, to go through all that. This will definitely be a topic, but Andy, if you're prepared to talk about it, please do.
I still believe 300 is probably going to be too high, but we can probably cover it with the other line items. I think the local receipts are in good shape, and would be able to absorb the difference.
Okay, thank you.
The next topic is the receipts for 2016, so, our revenues.
Yes, Andy has provided you with an email that's in your packet, indicating that we are over 75% of our collection, or anticipated collection. A couple things to point out. The first 2 tax bills that went out for FY, the current year, were estimated. The 3rd bill was an actual, and the 4th bill is an actual bill that is actually due on May 1st. So
Which
there's
we all
a-
just got on April Fool's Day. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
thank you
Yeah,
very
that's great,
much.
yeah.
I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, okay, well,
So as far as our revenues, it looks like we are in very good shape at this point.
okay, I'll just point out, on the list you have of the 6 highlights, the 6th one, the golf, the reason it's only 51%, I'm assuming, is because we get a big bump in golf here when people start signing up for their memberships, because obviously today is not a golf day, but it's coming pretty soon. When
The
people-
harbor will ramp up, the golf will ramp up.
Yeah.
Hopefully ambulance won't ramp up, but we'll still get some revenue.
Yeah, well, that's another topic altogether. But
Great.
Andy, I don't know if you want to make any comments on just the revenues. we've seen your memo before, but if you just want to make a comment on, where we are relative to where we expected to be. And I guess one of the concerns is because we had that hiccup, previously, where we're going to be able to get to the end of this, this year, if you will, fiscal year,
Yes,
without any issues. So,
Yes, I think we'll be fine.
okay.
Plus the spring's coming, we should be, as you mentioned, we should be bumping up certain things like the golf, the harbor, and everything I'm reading about the automakers, they haven't been a year, so people are buying new cars, so that'll help with the motor vehicle excise tax. So I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
Can I ask a
Yep, go
question?
ahead.
Just I want to understand these numbers a little better. The budgeted number, is that what you budget after you've taken out the 10% that you're supposed to? So in other words, in actuality, it's really 10% higher than that?
I'm not following you, Angela.
Well, my
What he's saying, if we have revenues of $1 million that we thought we were going to get, and for budget purposes,
We put in
you
900,000.
put in 900.
900,000, yeah.
So is that number here comparable to the 900?
I believe it is, but I
Okay.
didn't do the budget last year.
Okay. Well, when we get into this summer, maybe we should, if we could, take a look at what we're doing with our revenues, our fees that we get in by department, and just take a look at them.
Sure.
The full number, the 90% all those things, just so we know where we're going.
Well, and I
that'd be
think,
helpful.
once we get to the end of this fiscal year, if we get a report on the revenues for
Yeah.
16, if you will, FY 16, to see, what the totals were, and then what backing out to the 90% gets us in the budget.
Yeah. See, what makes it difficult is you have the waterways group, for example, as an example, using one set of numbers, and then the town, if you will, using a different set of numbers, and they really are talking about the same thing. So gets a little confusing.
Call it having a little bit of margin, because someday the sun's not going to shine as much.
Oh, of course.
There's going to
I-
be some groundhogs at the golf course or something.
I think we absolutely need to do,
Stuff has to happen,
we
so.
absolutely need to do that, but I think we just need to,
Yeah, to be on the other side of
Boy,
that
it is.
equation is not good.
Yeah.
Linda?
Well, I think that if we do anything, we all ought to be using the same set of numbers. Because coming from the accounting field,
Well-
the end of it, when you start talking about somebody's using one set of numbers and somebody else is using, sounds like two sets of books, and that gets frowned upon
yeah,
somewhat.
it is.
So I think that whatever numbers we're using, how about if we all use the same
That's
set?
fine.
Yeah, it gets very
Okay.
confusing.
Because it gets too confusing if people start with the double sets of books.
That's right. That's fine.
Okay,
Whatever
thank you,
number you want.
thank you. Administrator report.
I am pleased to represent Chris Clark this evening. Couple things. FEMA, the town received a letter from the Federal Emergency Management Agency indicating that the town now qualifies for a 10% discount on premium cost of flood insurance for NFIP policies issued or renewed in special flood hazard areas on or before October 1, 2015. There are only, I believe, 2, maybe 3 other towns in the state that actually have achieved this threshold. This is very exciting. I'd like to thank Dave Spitz and Elaine Banta in the planning office for their work in getting us to this level. This is really terrific. One other thing, this will continue as long as the town does not change its flood management practices. So that will be sustained. So that's pretty great news.
So what does this mean for the homeowner who's in the floodplain?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what does it mean?
Oh, they get a 10% discount on their flood insurance rate. So if it's $3,000, they get $300 off. So
Flood
that's,
insurance is pretty expensive,
it's,
so that's a nice.
it's very expensive.
Brutal.
It's very expensive.
Okay, it's good news.
So that's very good
Be
news.
nice if it were 20%, but we'll take the 10.
I don't think anywhere in the country is that high.
Montana,
Yeah.
maybe. Okay.
So 10% is really, really good. Second is the ice cream and food concessions at the beaches. As this is an under $50,000 contract, we just wanted to bring it to your attention that these have been issued. We
What-
have Winter Bottom ice cream, and we have hot dogs at Red River Beach, Buca's Depot Dogs, and the same for the second year. If anybody has questions on that.
We'll check out the product and then we'll come back.
Yeah, we'll talk.
See how it
We
is.
need, don't we have samples?
I'm lactose intolerant, so I have to pass on the ice cream.
All right.
I am handing to you, this is a revised memo from Chris Clark regarding the West Harwich School construction. We wanted you to have it, a revised copy early, so that you can all take a look at it.
That'll be on next
And it
week's
will be on
agenda.
next week's agenda. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to get in touch with us, and we can provide you with whatever information we can. Regarding the Muddy Creek update, the chair informed you that the metal spans are coming soon. Channel 18 in Chatham actually had this video up, which we would like to share with you and the audience. It is an approximately 1 minute lapse time of 1 month, almost 1 month of construction that's down there.
Bless you.
Didn't rain one day.
There was snow on a couple pictures.
See the water go up?
Yeah, look at it. Cool.
The tide.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
The commentary is wonderful.
Actually, there's really nice music, but you can't hear it. There's a bird whistling.
I like the backhoe coming out, you're like, running off again.
As long as there's no Amtrak train going by.
Oh. A couple other things,
Excuse me, on that one, the
yes.
important thing is, once the spans are there, they get in place, and then they start working on the actual bridge deck itself and whatnot. I
They
mean,
had to do the water first, kind of like
Yep.
levees to get everything working, and to
Architect-
get the pilings in.
They still on target for a Memorial Day type
Yes.
thing?
Well, that will be our concern going forward to, you know, we certainly have a huge interest in having that
Yes,
thing
big
done by
interest
the
in that
time.
one.
There was a
crowds
meeting,
get
I
here.
believe, yeah, there is a ribbon cutting on May 5th at, I believe, 10 a.m.
I don't think that means the bridge is done, though. I think it just means we're cutting a ribbon.
It may be the time when all the folks from the feds and the state can be here,
Yeah, something like that.
something like that.
Okay.
A couple other things I just wanted to let you know about. As the chair let you know, the comprehensive wastewater management plan was filed with the Cape Cod Commission on March 31st. A hearing has been scheduled for April 28th in this very room at 5 o'clock in the evening by the Cape Cod Commission. This will be the DRI, and I believe also the MEPA public hearing that they need to do. And also to let you know that Chris Clark met with John Giorgio and David Young to review the IMA, and John is working on a counter to Chatham's proposal that will be shared with you all.
Can you, for the state of the 28th, could you ask Sandy to send us out timing for this meeting? You
An announcement, you mean?
An announcement?
Yeah, it's April 28th at 5 PM.
Oh, I didn't
Yep,
get the
5 PM to
There
7:30
is an
PM in
email.
this room.
There is an email. Somebody,
I didn't see it.
Yeah, Dave Young sent it out today.
All right, I haven't
see on
seen it, I'm
Just
sorry.
make sure
I
that-
believe
just make sure the board's on it.
Angelo and Michael received that,
Okay, I just haven't gotten it, I'm
because
sorry.
they're on the
Yeah,
subcommittee.
Okay, and of course, Thursday night, we have at 6 o'clock.
Yes, I was going to let you
Oh,
do that.
okay, Thursday night at 6 o'clock, we have a wastewater workshop, I guess I would just describe it as that. What's our attendance at the moment?
We, including staff, of which I think there's only 4 of us, it's 30 people.
Okay, well, that's a lot better than it was last week at this time, so that's
At
good.
6 o'clock, 6 to 8 or something?
6 to 8 o'clock,
Yeah,
yep.
you can make
You're
it
all in
bigger.
separate teams, you all have a color. We color-coded,
We're color-coded.
you are.
We get a T-shirt or something?
I'm purple, I'm sorry, Linda,
Okay.
you're
All
not.
right, anything else? Anything else on that
Really
topic?
love this
No,
one.
that's all I had, unless you were going to bring up the meeting that we had last Friday?
We did have a meeting last Friday, where were we? We were in Yarmouth.
And we were in Yarmouth.
In Yarmouth.
At CDM's
The
office.
chairman of the boards of selectmen of Yarmouth, Dennis, and Harwich, along with the town administrators and assistant town administrators, got together just to start discussing at CDM Smith's office what each of us are doing, each community is doing on wastewater, and sort of what our requirements are, and whether or not it might make some sense to have a discussion or start a discussion. Consider, would it be beneficial to join forces, if you will, as far as particularly treatment facilities. And we do have a nice graphic that was put together that we'll share with you pretty soon, that shows all of the flows that each of us are dealing with and what some of the possibilities might be. So it's far from anything under the discussion at this point in time, but Dave Young asked, if we were interested in doing that, and of course we're interested in having a discussion about it. The meeting was very positive. There were some projections on numbers of, savings, but it's way too early, and there's a lot of things that factor into it. So it's just an interesting topic at this point in time. So more will come. I mean, and I will say that I think we're a lot further along than some of the other folks are. I mean, we've actually done some things, and we're actually, we actually have a plan now that's filed, whereas Dennis is still working on their plan, and, they have ways to go, so.
Well, I think it's a great approach to take with what little we know. It's directionally correct.
It doesn't eliminate the need to go to Chatham, for instance, with
No,
East
it's
Harwich.
totally
I mean,
separate.
that's a separate thing, and that needs to be done, so. We have that. The other thing I'll remind you of as we get ready for town meeting, the way we do this is, every selectman gets assigned X amount of articles. What does that mean? It means that when an article comes up, a lot of times there's no discussion, no anything, and you're just sitting there in your hands, but for those that have some discussion and need some discussion, some from the Finance Committee, some from the Board of Selectmen needs to at least lead those discussions, if you will. So typically, you're going to end up with, 10 to 15 articles apiece that you'll have your name next to. I just ask you to start thinking about the ones you really have an interest in. Let the chair know. In the end, I'm going to assign them, But if you've got one in if you've got 5 in particular that you're really interested in, you're an advocate for, let me know, because we'll make sure you get the lead on those things, okay? Unless everybody wants to lead on something, so.
Can we horse trade then after we
Yeah,
get the
sure,
assignments?
sure. That's,
Yeah, I think Michael should get a whole bunch of them just to practice.
okay, whatever. That's okay, all right. The other one I want to remind you is that we did last week review the town administrative evaluation process. We need to do it in the month of April, which we're in. I mentioned to everybody that Angelo, in my absence, the week I'm gone, has graciously taken on the assignment of disseminating them all and kind of putting them all together and figuring out what it all means. But he can't do that unless we all get our evaluations into him. So the date we set, or I set last week, was the 15th of April. Get your stuff in on the 15th, and then not that following Monday, but the Monday after, when we're back. It's the last Monday meeting in April. We will go through that. Okay.
You made it sound like I really volunteered for that. I'd like you to know that he said to do it. And
Well, I
it's
asked if
okay.
you, no, I asked if you do it.
It's
I
fine.
mean,
It's fine.
I think it's gracious of you to accept. How's that? So if I had to do it while I'm riding at Disney World with 5 grandchildren, it wouldn't come out very well. Let me just say that. Okay. All right. That's all I have. Michael, do you have anything?
Yeah, in the packet this week, there was photographs of the Albro House and some construction. I wonder if administration could.
Oh, yes, thank you. There was money in the Albro House account, gift account, and
Revolving fund?
thank you. And Sean Libby looked at the projects that really needed to be done in there and made a proposal to do the walls and ceiling, a couple other things, within the interior of the building, and the railway, the railing outside, if you look, it's kind of haphazard and doesn't match. There were some liberties taken when some work was done. So all that is being done right now, and the photographs reflect the work so far.
Is he just torn apart at this point in time? I haven't looked inside.
Last I knew, because those were from last week, yes, it
Okay.
was still,
This is
Torn apart.
the front, what I call the
This
living
is
room in the front,
the
the ceiling was falling
parlor.
down?
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yep. And the walls in there.
Yep, no, I saw that.
And it is being done by in-house folks.
Anything else, Mike?
No, the other one goes back to West Harwich, and I'm wondering if we get clarification for next week. The grant that was applied for, the block grant, the matching funds,
Yep.
is there state money involved in that block grant? Do you know?
I forget the agency it's through, but it is a state entity that the grant has been applied to.
I wonder, because I was asked if the plume that runs underneath of that, or supposedly runs underneath of that, if in the application, the potential of pollutants was put in there, because I know that in the last project that was brought up for that location, that it was denied, state money was denied because of the plume. And I also wonder if the applicant, I guess joint application, has considered what happens if we put a shovel in the ground over there and we find contaminants? Is there any provision in any of these plans? So just thought for next week, because these are questions that I have on the project.
All right, anything else? Good? Angelo?
Just a quick comment. In the last couple of weeks, fortunately, I was able to Skype in, and I just wanted you to know, it was, from my standpoint, a good experience, because I could see everybody, I could hear things, and it's, I think, a way that we should continue to use. It was very good, at least from my side, and I think this side was getting information also. It's helpful.
Okay. All right, Linda?
Just I'd like to agenda something for the future, near future. There was a meeting at the community center on for-profit room rentals, and I think some people have been misquoted, information not quite complete that is out there, and I think there are some people that are making decisions and assessments based on incomplete information. I'd also like to basically make sure that we have a discussion at this point with the Facilities Committee, because I can't find where any of these meetings were posted. And there were 3 people, there was a majority of the Facilities Committee there, and without a posted meeting, and they were all actively participating, and I think we could get in trouble for that.
Okay.
So I'd like to have that agended.
Sure. Can you wait 2 or 3 weeks?
Oh, sure.
Okay, all right, I just didn't know the urgency of it, so.
Well, there's another meeting in reference to that being agended at this point. Is that a different meeting with the interview committee?
I think that meeting is only to talk to someone who was
Okay.
on the committee who.
Well, I just want to make sure
This
they're
is-
separate meetings.
To
Yes.
say it's a conduct issue, I guess I'd describe it as that, not
Okay.
the whole committee. At
Okay.
least that's not the way I understand it.
All right. I didn't want to step on feet.
Okay. All right. Anything else? We're adjourned.